Hey everybody, so we got our next phase of the project done. We have the base for it. So as you can see, this is what it's going to be on. I just put the first coat of stain on it. I'm using this. This is just what I had. So I figure I don't even know how old this is. I don't even know if it's any good. This could be completely faded when I come down tomorrow morning, but we'll see. So I'm just going with the dark walnut. I figured darker color's better anyway because we're doing more of a fall theme. So I thought that would look good. So I just put the first coat on the top and around the edges. Probably do the underside when this is dry, just to make it, just because. It's just one of those things I'm a little fussy about. So this was actually a 20 by 36 inch board. It's 3/4 inch, which is more than enough what you need to put power jacks in. I think my last layout is either 1/2 inch or it's 3/4, and I got a jack in that just fine. So I called Lowe's. This was my experience today with this. I called Lowe's to find a disc to put it on because I was thinking, maybe a tabletop, and I'll just cut the sides off like this is now, and it'll be exactly how I need it, and I'll already have the rounded edges and everything. So, but they said they had a 28 inch was exactly what I needed. Well, the guy read it wrong. So by the time I got there, they had 18, 24, and 36. So none of those would work for this. I would have been okay with 30 because I could have just put a little more Sculpta mold on the sides and kind of slope the edges down. But we made it work. They were nice enough to actually draw the lines on it for cutting. So I just cut this with my jigsaw now. It's not as even as I'd like it, but it's not really that noticeable. So no harm, no foul there. Put the first coat of stain on, so then we will do the power jacks next. Now, I'm going to do 3 of these in this. My last layout, I did 1 just because it was one little oval, no turnouts, no anything, but I wanted the turnouts to be powered. I know it's Z-scale, you could just reach in and flick them, but I figure I have the bigger Rokuhan controller, like we all know here, this one, and you guys know it has the turnout switches on it, so I figured, well, let's use them. Let's make it powered, and we'll go from there. So now on the back of this, you guys know there's power wire. There's your accessory wire in case you want to add lights or some feature to the layout, which I wasn't going to do for this. And then here's your 2 turnout switches. So what we'll need to do is these power jacks will actually get drilled into this side here. I'm going to do because it's a little more flat on this side. So I'm just going to put them all in a row. One of these will actually be for the track power, and it will just get these end wires will just get soldered to the rails. So if you are doing this, just make sure to test it before you solder the wires. Just put the jack in, get the wires out, and get them on the rails however you want them to make sure that matches up with the forward and reverse control, because just so it's not going reverse and it's not the way you want it. It doesn't really matter because you can always flip the engine around. But if you want it going a certain direction, like for me on my layout, which is right over here, and I will explain this update as well. So I wanted forward to be going this way. That way you could back into the turnouts, like with our PS2 hopper made by AZL, of course, to back this in and put it at the grain elevator, or be able to put another car here where our AZL Pennsylvania E7 is at, and maybe you pull in a locomotive to pull this car out, back it in to this siding, and then pull that car out and back it in here. You could have a little bit of operations. You could have a little bit of fun with this. So yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure my direction was where I wanted it to go here. So forward will be this way. So I'll have to make sure when I put these wires on the track that it's going the way I want it to. So back to the base here before we get more into the newest details on the layout. This is pretty much all you need to do a small Z-scale layout. I mean, as you've seen with me building this layout so far, it's not the biggest thing. It doesn't take up space. So something like this is just perfect for it. You can do it yourself real easy. It just takes a little bit of cutting work. I was hoping to have the disc, but you know what? We made it work, and I think it looks pretty good for a little layout. So I'll be down to put the second coat of stain on this tomorrow. I'll probably stain the underside, like I said. And, you know, then whenever it's completely dry and I'm happy with it, we'll drill the holes to put the power jacks in, and that'll be another video for that. So let's get over here to the layout itself before it gets glued down to the base. So as you can see, our newest addition, we finished clump foliage on the mountain last night. So this is our fall mix by Woodland Scenics. So I just, as I showed you guys in the little short, I pulled this out of the bag and I just dumped it all in a cardboard box here. So I was able to mix it up. When you buy this, it comes in a package like this. And all the different colors are in 4 rows there. You've seen my other videos, or if you haven't seen them, that's how this came. So I'm keeping the bag, because if I don't go through all this, I'm gonna put it away for another project. So, but we just used tacky glue for this. We just kept putting beads of glue down and putting the foliage on. And then I actually took, this is a white glue and water mix, a little bit of dish soap in it for an adhesive. I will probably go over this again, just because I know some of it's still a little loose. And I just want it to stay on there. I mean, you kind of got, if you're going to use that much foliage, you really got to soak it good around this side. So I'm still, the track's a little bit closer than I wanted it to be, but that, because I wanted to go all the way to the bottom right here. Let me adjust the camera so you can see better. I wanted it to go all the way to the bottom, the foliage on the mound. So we'll push that in a little bit more. I was actually, as I was making this last night, my oldest daughter was having a blast helping me with this. But I was actually just taking a paintbrush and kind of, as we were putting it down on the bottom, I was just using this to like push it in, because the ballast is going to come right up to it. So I'll probably add a little more right here, just so I can keep my ballast lines going. I find that if you're going to do this kind of scenery, especially this small, it's kind of nice to have the foliage there, because I'll have some on the outer side here as well. And then, you know, try to make it even on both sides. So when the ballast goes in, I know exactly where that ballast is going to go. It's not like I'm just guessing how much I need, because that's what I did on my first layout with ballast. I kind of was like going back and forth between blended turf and ballast, trying to get my lines right. And it worked eventually, but it's kind of sloppy. So I wanted to improve there on how I ballasted this track and make it look a lot more realistic and a lot better looking than the other one. So we got a little more extra space on this backside. That feeder wire, as I said, isn't going to be there, because we're going to solder the wires to the track probably right here. I already drilled a hole for that, and for the turnouts as well. So like the turnout wires are already running through. But anyway, we'll probably add more foliage back here than we would like on the sides, just to again keep those ballast lines. I'm probably gonna, looking back now, I probably should have made the mound like closer to the river. I should have extended it a little bit, just so it was kind of covering up where the river started. But I think I'm just going to do foliage a little deeper around here, so the river's not, the origin of the river just isn't showing. So we're going to do that, and then we'll do our water feature eventually. You can see I got the real dirt in there. I did put a little bit of gravel and a little bit of coarse ballast in there, but I didn't like the way it looked, so that's why I just added the dirt. And then probably the last thing we'll do after we get everything set up is the Dunkirk signal tower we still have to build. So we're going to do that. I want to get this thing out and at least started so I can see how big it's going to be. Because like I did with the grain elevator, I actually put that on the HO road bed here. So I'm gonna do the same for the signal tower, and at least get, even if it's not before I build it, I at least want to get one of these cut to size and place it probably right here. That way I can do the rest of the scenery around it, and then when the signal tower is done, I can just glue it right to this road bed here. So So we have that going. That will probably be the last thing, just because the grain elevator took it out of me when I was building it, and it was very rewarding, but very challenging to build that thing. So I figure, well, I'm gonna probably do everything else first, since the grain elevator was kind of the first thing I did with this, other than the track plan. Um, I figure I'll do everything else first, and then I'll finish with the signal tower here. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a nice layout. I really like the colors of this blended turf. This is the Earth Blend by Woodland Scenics. I'll show it to you again. Um, if you're going to do a fall theme, definitely use this for ground cover. Highly recommend it. I mean, anything by Woodland Scenics is good. But definitely, if you can find your color or whatever season you're going to try to do. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. Should be done maybe next week, maybe end of next week, depending on how much time I get, maybe the week after, but I wanted it at least done by fall, and I know we'll get that done. So check for updates. Check us out, uszscale.com, for all your Z-Scale needs. We have Roku Hunt, AZL, Full Throttle, and more. So definitely keep that in mind. Check out for new releases on the 1st and 15th of every month. And yeah, keep on railroading. Be anxious to hear your feedback, see what projects you're working on, and yeah, it's a fun hobby, and I think together we can make American Z-Line as big of a household name as Lionel if we keep doing projects like this. So I think that's all I got for tonight. I'm starting to ramble, and you guys probably don't want to hear that. So we will revisit this on the next round. So thanks, guys. Bye.